Lil Wayne. It's March 11th, 1994. On this day, 12-year-old Dwayne Carter Jr., better known as Lil Wayne, found a 9mm handgun in his mother's home and accidentally shot himself in the chest. Wayne somehow crawled to the door and called 911 before passing out. When the dispatch team arrived, he was still breathing. That's when a cop named Robert Hubler kicked down the door, picked Wayne up, loaded him into his cruiser, and rushed him to the hospital, saving his life. After several days in the medical center, he became stable and was later discharged. At the time, he said the shooting was accidental, but in 2018, during an interview, Wayne revealed it was actually a suicide attempt. He said he pulled the trigger after being told by his mother that he had to give up his rap dreams and cut ties with the people helping him chase them. That moment changed the course of his entire life. And at the 2018 BT Awards, Wayne publicly dedicated his award to the officer who saved him and said that was his true hero, because while the other cops thought he was already dead, Bob believed otherwise and took him to the hospital. 21 Savage. It was October 2013. Savage was celebrating his 21st birthday. However, that night, Savage and his best friend Johnny B got caught up in a drug deal gone wrong. You see, while they were sitting in the car, a random guy suddenly jumped in and pulled a gun, demanding they hand over everything they had. But after a short scuffle, gunfire broke out. Savage was shot 6 times, once in the neck, arm, hand, and left finger. His best friend Johnny was also shot in the head and died on arrival. But 21 somehow managed to call 911. Paramedics rushed him to the hospital, where he underwent emergency surgery and somehow pulled it off. Nobody was arrested for the shooting, and the case still remains unsolved. LiL Tjay. On the night of June 22, 2022, Bronx rapper LiL Tjay was the target of an attempted robbery at a popular shopping center in Edgewater, New Jersey. LiL Tjay was with 2 friends when a man tried to rob them, and gunfire erupted after a short scuffle. LiL Tjay was shot 7 times, taking bullets to the chest, neck, lung, and arm. His injuries were so severe, he had to be airlifted to Hackensack University Medical Center. His cousin, Antoine Boyd, was also hit, but survived with non-life-threatening injuries. The rapper underwent emergency surgery, and against all odds, he was able to pull through. A few weeks later, police arrested 27-year-old Mohammed Konate, who was charged with attempted murder, armed robbery, and multiple weapons offenses. 2 months after the shooting, TJ made a full recovery and came back stronger, dropping the single "Beat the Odds," which quickly blew up and became a massive success. The Game. It was October 1st, 2001. On that day, Compton-born rapper Jason Taylor, better known as The Game, was ambushed and shot 5 times in the chest and arm. You see, back then, Game was known in his neighborhood not just as a rapper, but also as a humble drug dealer. That night, he was at his trap house when some unexpected visitors showed up at the door, pretending to be customers. But as soon as he opened the door, they opened fire. He was hit multiple times, but somehow managed to call 911 before collapsing into a coma that lasted for 3 days. He underwent multiple surgeries, and thankfully, he survived. After the shooting, rumors started to swirl that it wasn't just a random hit. Word on the street was that someone from his own crew might have set him up. But with no solid evidence and no arrests made, the case quietly faded into the shadows. 50 Cent. On May 24, 2000, 24-year-old Curtis Jackson, better known as 50 Cent, was sitting in a car outside his grandmother's home in Queens when a gunman walked up and fired 9 shots at close range. He was hit in the hand, arm, hip, chest, both legs, and face. 1 bullet went through his cheek, causing his tongue to swell and knocking out his wisdom tooth. 50 was rushed to the hospital, where he spent 13 days recovering. Miraculously, he survived. And instead of letting it break him, he turned the trauma into fuel. And after he made a full recovery, he channeled the anger into his debut album, Get Rich or Die Tryin'. Songs like Many Men told the story of his brush with death and helped launch him into rap superstardom. As for the shooter, no arrest was ever made, because he came up dead just 3 weeks after the shooting. He was a low-level drug dealer named Kenneth McGriff, Sauce Walka. It was a Saturday afternoon on March 22, 2025. Houston rapper Sauce Walka was standing outside a downtown Memphis hotel near FedEx Forum with one of his artists and a few others from his team. Out of nowhere, a white car pulled up. 2 men got out, walked straight toward the group, and opened fire. Sauce was hit in the thigh, but the real target was his young artist, the one he had signed and mentored, who was tragically pronounced dead at the scene. Sauce was rushed to the hospital, but his injuries were non-life-threatening. He was discharged just hours later. As for the shooter, one who was later identified as Jaden Dandridge, he went on the run, but just a week later, he was found shot to death in his own apartment. Skilla Baby. It was May 22, 2025. On this day, Detroit rapper Trevin Gardner, better known as Skilla Baby, was cruising near 8 Mile and Beach Daily in his black SUV when another car suddenly pulled up beside him and let off over 20 rounds in a drive-by shooting. His SUV crashed into a building, but somehow, he survived. Skilla was rushed to the hospital with a gunshot wound to the hand, grazes to the head and his upper back. After surgery, he shocked everyone by hitting the stage just 2 days later, performing at a concert alongside 42 Doug. The suspect was arrested just days later. Investigators executed a search warrant at his home and recovered the firearm used in the shooting. As of the time this video was made, the suspect remains in police custody. Damn, Skilla really took 20 shots and still came back rapping in just 2 days. Detroit is built different. Megan Thee Stallion. On July 12, 2020, Megan, her friend Kelsey, and Tory Lanez attended a party at Kylie Jenner's house in Los Angeles. But on the ride home, things took a dark turn. An argument broke out between Megan and Tory Lanez, and it ended with Tory allegedly pulling out a gun and shooting Megan in both feet. When officers first arrived at the scene, Megan initially told them she had stepped on broken glass, fearing how the situation might escalate. But later, she went on Instagram and revealed the truth that she had been shot by Tory. Tory Lanez was arrested and charged with assault with a firearm and carrying a loaded firearm in a vehicle. After a high-profile trial, he was found guilty and sentenced to 10 years in prison. Tory still denies the charges and has filed an appeal, but as of the time this video was made, nothing has changed, so he is still behind bars serving his sentence religiously. French Montana. Back in 2003, while leaving a recording studio in the Bronx, French Montana was set up by his own people. As he walked outside, 2 gunmen ran up on him. After a quick scuffle, French was shot in the back of the head. But here's where it gets wild. One of the shooters accidentally killed the other during the chaos. And the craziest part, the same friend who set him up is the one who drove him to the hospital. French miraculously survived, but once he recovered, he was hit with a murder charge for the shootout. Luckily, with no solid evidence linking him to the killing, he beat the case. Now don't forget to subscribe and also watch this video after.